Somehow, we did it. We got through another year of this weird is it not okay energy that dominates the post-pandemic world, but at least we had video games, and lots of them. While it's easy to take a step back and only see the likes of God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Stray, or Horizon Forbidden West, 2022 is low-key one of the best years for gaming of all time. Once you really take a step back and look at the caliber of everything that released month to month, we have an outstanding selection of games, and every last one I'm going to mention is a must-play. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 best video games of 2022. Before we crack on with the numbered list though, let's rattle off some honorable mentions, because like I said, there's a ton. Windjammers 2, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Return to Monkey Island, WWE 2K22, Sniper Elite 5, The Callisto Protocol, Scorn, Ollie Ollie World, Trek to Yomi, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Bayonetta 3, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Signalis, Marvel's Midnight Suns, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. Yes, I'm putting them together. And Immortality. Now on with the list. Number 10, Need for Speed Unbound. The game millions of arcade racing fans have been begging for years, Need for Speed Unbound is essentially Burnout Paradise meets Into the Spider-Verse. It's every bit the billboard-smashing, stunt-ramp-hitting open-world extravaganza we got back in 2008, twinned with a gorgeously over-the-top art style that sees cel-shaded smoke streams, random doodles, and beautifully animated anime-adjacent characters fly past you at 200 miles an hour. Adopting a segmented day-night cycle design that came into its own this year with Gotham Knights and Marvel's Midnight Suns, here Need for Speed Unbound encourages you to get out and complete races, challenges, or collectible hunts during the day, then bank everything back at base before the cops bust you and take away all your money. Stay out longer and you'll make more cash, but that means more risk and you'll now be carrying more heat into the nighttime, where it's even harder to avoid getting caught. Car handling, customization, vehicle variety, and even character customization are next level, with various tweaks, sliders, and tunings letting you skew more towards weightier simulation-style racing if you really want to, or embrace gigantic drifts, regular nitrous blasts, and rival takedowns if they get in your way. The whole package here is the best and most confident Need for Speed has been since maybe 2010's Hot Pursuit. Sure, Unbound's art style has proven divisive with the game struggling sales-wise, but the guts of the experience are pure burnout. It works way better than many of us thought going in, and if you have an arcade racing bone in your body, you need to play this game. Number 9, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. 2023 will be the 20th anniversary of the original Call of Duty, and you'd think after so many installments, the franchise going annual from 2005 onwards, there'd be little to truly celebrate about another COD. However, with 2019's reboot of Modern Warfare came a total overhaul of core physics, movement feel, and the general playability of Call of Duty as an IP. If you need proof, go back to any of the older games after playing 2019's. The change is staggering, even if you didn't think that much had changed at the time. For Modern Warfare 2 then, yes, we got an arbitrarily solid, engaging Hollywood action campaign, but the real meat of the experience is in overhauling multiplayer progression. Bringing in weapon unlocks contingent on using the entirety of the game's arsenal is a godsend, encouraging class variety per map, and forcing players stuck in their ways to adapt and see what else is on offer. Map design is some of the best in the series, with the ginormous ground war eating Battlefield's lunch while EA figure out just what the hell to do with Battlefield 2042 before moving on entirely. Call of Duty has been through a lot of ups, downs, and downright what the hell are you guys doings, but when it's good, there's nothing like a pristine Call of Duty running on the latest hardware. Number 8, Citizen Sleeper. Its gameplay is almost impossible to get through footage alone, but Citizen Sleeper from writer, designer, and artist Gareth Damian Martin is a top-down, dialogue-driven RPG about the remnants of life on a derelict spaceship, played by rolling dice to trigger every interaction. With multiple character classes and a ton of endings depending on who you meet, whether you fall into criminal circles or choose to help pay a father-daughter combo to escape the station, the greatest quality here is a ludicrously well-written script. Yes, the likes of Disco Elysium set a bar for sheer talented writing taking center stage in a game, and Citizen Sleeper deserves to be up there too. So many evocative descriptions and stylish additions to the environment come entirely through text and character portraits, creating a surprisingly effective bond between your slowly dying android and whoever you choose to talk to. Those dice rolls I mentioned will reset per day, being the result of how well rested your android body is, how well certain rolls went the day before, and whether you have access to enough resources to stay in the best shape. With time ticking down on your body regardless how you spend it, the friendships you make, and the intensity of pulling off a high-risk role making or breaking certain opportunities, living out your days in Citizen Sleeper backed by Amos Roddy's hauntingly gorgeous ambient score is one of the most uniquely affecting experiences you can have all year. Number 7, Tunic. Formerly an Xbox exclusive, now available everywhere, Tunic is that rare type of game that feels built for gamers themselves to apply their knowledge, seek out secrets, and just poke and prod at the world on display. Very much a tribute to pre-Breath of the Wild dungeon-crawling Zelda, Tunic's greatest card is using real-world scans of old instruction manuals as a tutorial, as a way to flesh out the lore. Finding another page of these forgotten books millions of us remember from a different era of gaming entirely means more context you'd otherwise have going in, and Tunic's combat slowly rolls itself out with additional mechanics you didn't even know were there all along. Better still, map design here is genuinely outstanding. By using fixed perspective and an original Dark Souls style overlapping series of pathways taking you back or around older areas, you'll come across a screen from hours ago, emerging from the foreground or from behind a waterfall, revealing a connective path you never realized was there from the beginning. It is very hard for games to maintain mystery in a world of hyperconnectivity and encourage secret sharing online, but Tunic's tight combat and supremely impressive design is built for people like you and me. Number 6. Horizon Forbidden West. As the sequel to one of PlayStation's most cherished New Age IP, Forbidden West expanded everything that Zero Dawn set in motion. A gorgeous, yes, best visuals open world, combat that now comes with multiple RPG skill trees, unlocks, and playstyles. Machine designs feel even more complex and like living weapon crates, encouraging you to shear off elemental canisters, firearms, and explosives to use on that same target to bring them down. Forbidden West's secret source, and something that was utterly buried under just how much Elden Ring millions of us were playing instead, is how the whole structure of the game actually has a ton of Mass Effect 2 in it. Your home base oozes captaining the Normandy vibes, seeing brilliantly written, memorable characters offer side quests, expansions of lore, or just great conversation whenever you like. You'll care for this gang of misfits and their interpersonal relationships, and while Horizon Forbidden West is a more of what you love sequel, when Guerrilla already knocked it out the park in 2017, there's only so much that can be classed as a negative. Number 5. Cult of the Lamb. Talk about your satisfying sets of gameplay loops. Cult of the Lamb is a ludicrously Moorish deep blend of Stardew Valley-esque farming mechanics and cult member management, with chunky roguelike dungeon crawling alongside. The result is a game that indulges in being deliciously evil, where you can choose to make any followers sacrificed into meals for the next 5 people who've prayed to you all morning. There are fights to the death, summoning of eldritch gods, ascendancies, and everything in between. And while this would have been charming and enjoyable on its own, it's Cult of the Lamb's immaculate and tactile combat mechanics that tie everything together. From upgrade paths and cult upkeep to rolling the right build that takes your lamb all the way through a dungeon in one gloriously rewarding run, Cult of the Lamb is Stardew's combat dungeon loot loops designed by someone like the Addams family, and it works stupidly well. Number 4. Sifu. What do you do after perfecting a martial arts Dark Souls live service action game called Absolver, where legions of players practiced against each other, growing stronger with each deflection, counter, and roundhouse kick straight to the jaw? You take all that player data, all that immaculate choreography and feel to combat, and you funnel it into the most brutally efficient martial arts brawler known to gaming. Sifu is nothing less than the digital equivalent of learning a fighting style from a sensei determined to turn your face into a fine paste. Getting the counter system and ability to sway out the way of moves entirely is one thing, but the game's true ending requires a specific way of pacifistic thinking that you'll really have to study your teachings to unlock. Sifu felt like a real moment for action games across 2022. A fresh, relentless martial arts game with a killer aesthetic and story that gets more rewarding and detailed the more you explore each level. For such a small budget indie title in the grand scheme of things, it's as refined and effective as a well-honed martial artist master. Number 3. Neon White. I don't think anyone expected the guy who made 2018's physics-based gentrification em-up Donut County to return with an arcadey first-person puzzle shooter, but here we are. Neon White is one of those games that immediately feels innovative and made with purpose. It's in the way leaderboards are handled, the way levels are tight, satisfying tests of your aiming, parkour skills, and ability to read the best route through a map all at the same time. It's how even after an initial run, entire other ways of reaching the goal get shown off with distant collectibles, encouraging you to try combinations of rocket jumps and enemy kill chains to reach that 100%. It's in how even boss encounters themselves are time trial stunt runs, with weak spots only opening up if you can chain the right set of motions together and get every last thing right before dealing the killing blow. From score to mechanics, physics to art style, Neon White is a refined beast of a game, wielding the thrill of video game competition itself and daring you to do better. Number 2. God of War Ragnarok. Certain risky choices with pacing and overly hand-holdy tutorial NPCs aside, God of War Ragnarok is the sort of game that elevates the entire medium of gaming with its presence. The sort of narrative that fundamentally means more to those who have grown up with 17 years of Kratos already, and a continued miraculous reframing of one of gaming's most one-dimensional characters into someone we're genuinely rooting for and love playing as more than ever. The entire first half is a carefully played hand, designed to make you long for that key relationship between Kratos and son Atreus to return. Once this finally happens, Ragnarok's framing of fate and destiny belies a meaty dissection of manhood, fatherhood, teaching, trust, forgiveness, and exploring that parental notion of letting go, just hoping you did your best. Other games on this list have higher consistent bars of quality, but God of War Ragnarok's character moments, boss battles, narrative peaks, and what this story means to its own lore create a slew of individual scenes that are themselves the greatest highs of the year. And number 1, Elden Ring. We all knew it. We could feel it the second we stepped out that tutorial area and found a dragon resting on a lake, accidentally opened a chest, and were beamed halfway around the world to a different biome entirely, descended into what we'd later find was an entire other map tucked away underneath the existing one. Elden Ring was huge. It redefined the word epic, and yet it was inviting. It's a Skyrim, a Breath of the Wild, a Red Dead Redemption 2, something you're just glad to witness as a player of video games. Design-wise, Hidetaka Miyazaki and the team at From Software found ways to be consistently surprising the entire time you play. From set-piece battles against the likes of Starscourge Radahn and the god-devouring serpent Rykard, to stumbling across entire resting areas for families of dragons, or triggering time travel to face off against a twin-headed serpent king called Placidusax. Elden Ring is every game design lesson learned from over a decade of being on top, rolled out across a solid 80 to 100 hour journey that keeps the needle of surprise and satisfaction pinned the entire time. A magnificently designed, complex, and rewarding RPG we'll pass down through generations and replay over and over ourselves, Elden Ring is immediate gaming royalty and 2022's most essential game. And those are our picks for the 10 best video games of 2022. Let me know down in the comments what you think, maybe reorder my list, and let me know if there was anything else I missed. Also, please subscribe to the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast and check out the return of WhatCulture Gaming's quizzes, which we'll be doing every other Friday, especially across 2023. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com. Thank you very much for sticking with us across the year. Have a lovely, lovely Christmas, and I'll catch you next time.